Thank you everybody for being here. It's probably no surprise to most people here that because I work for PBS, I'm also a devoted Minnesota public radio listener. And over the last 2 days, they've been doing a huge fundraising drive around this idea of uncertainty. Literally the phrase they're fundraising around is "the future is uncertain." And so it is just everywhere right now. And as I've been thinking about this, I mean, we're certainly in a really unique political moment in terms of what's happening in Washington, but we've been in a period of uncertainty really for several years now. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to be here to talk to you, Becca, about how you have been dealing with all this at Securian. Before we start off, can you just tell us a tiny bit more about Securian and about your role there?
You bet. And good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be up here. So Securian Financial is a 145-year-old company based in St. Paul. Proudly St. Paul based for its duration, and we operate in the insurance and retirement solutions business. We've got about 5,500 employees across a portfolio of companies, including several independently operated subsidiaries, and our primary footprint is about 2,800 employees that are based out of our home office here. I've been with Securian for the last 2.5 years. And just really delighted with the journey that we've been on and hope to share a few things today. We have not figured everything out, so if you're looking for all the answers, this is not the time and place for that, but hopefully you can take away a few things that we've learned and that we've tried.
So when we talk about uncertainty, instability, what have you been hearing from your employees and other people in the industry?
Yes. Well, first and foremost from our employees, we've seen a pretty steady decline in engagement. We do an engagement survey, which many of you in this business probably also do. And we've been watching that with, equal parts disappointment and hope that we can turn it up and turn it around. What we've also heard from our employee base through that survey and through other listening mechanisms is that they're tired, that this uncertainty wears on them, that they look for answers and they look for stability from us in times of change. And that's, for me, an entry point in to a different type of conversation. Outside of Securian, I think I've heard very similar stories from peers, both within our industry and in other industries, that engagements are really tough nut to crack right now. And I just read yesterday, we hit an all-time low for global engagement at 21%. It's like 1 out of 5 people are feeling great about their work. That's not a good thing. We can do better than that. So I see that as a really great opportunity that we who lead talent functions, or we as leaders within organizations that can step in and provide that calm in the storm, or that answer to those questions that gives people something to hold on to, something to believe in, I think we'll be all better off.
And so you decided to start some of this work with a brand new, or maybe just new, employee value proposition. Can you just briefly talk about why you decided to start there?
Yes, great question. And when we started this work, it was early last year, and there were a couple of things going on. Of course, we were reflecting on our engagement results, this kind of steady decline that I described, the continued uncertainty externally that we've all felt as humans. And we had this really special moment with all of our leaders of people, where we had brought them together in a half-day summit focused on development, connection, inspiration. And our keynote speaker shared a story of another company that had a really compelling employee value proposition that had been the source of their belief, their hope as employees on what it meant to work there. And I have to tell you that in that session, we heard many of our leaders walk away saying, we need that. What's our version of what we saw on stage? And they also said, we think that we have a similar heartfelt connection to our purpose we have those kinds of stories that if we just did the work to draw them out, we think we could be there too. And so on that day, as I sat next to our CEO, I said, well, I'd actually love to do that work, because he was as excited about it as the people around us were. And so that was the day it began. And we'll talk a little bit more about what it unfolded into being, but that was a really important moment for us as a company.
So yeah, can you just tell us what are the statements that you came up with?
Yes. Well, so we really structured this work around a banner statement that really describes in a single phrase what we believe it means to work at Securian, and that is careers with enduring impact. We really challenged ourselves to listen, to gather input and voices from across the organization at all levels, to understand what brought people to Securian, what keeps them at Securian. We heard a lot of, kind of familiar words and phrases, but nobody was saying it exactly the same way. And so careers with enduring impact was the channeling of our purpose when turned inward on our people. The very long view that we take, not only in our business, in the way that we serve our customers, but also in the way that we invest in our people. And so that enduring impact, the impact that we have on our associates, their families, the people around us, our customers and our communities, was really kind of playing it forward in a couple of different ways. And then underneath it, we had three pillars that when we set out to do this work, we were trying to answer this question that we kept getting, again, through surveys or through anecdotal remarks from our associates, that is, I don't know who we are anymore. This isn't the company that I joined 20 years ago. We have a lot of tenure at Securian, a lot of proud tenure, and things have changed, of course, in 20 years. We have to. In 145 years, of course, we're going to change. And so when we sought to answer these questions of what are we going to lift up and differentiate, we wanted to hold on to things that were really special and important in our legacy, but we also wanted to make room for things that were new and things that we believed would set us up for the next chapter of our journey. And so the three pillars are make a difference, is the first one. And that's really a meaningful nod to the work that we do that is purpose-driven. It has an impact on people's lives. It's also a reflection of our deep commitment to the communities where we operate. And that's something that people hold really near and dear to their hearts, is we volunteer, we give back, and that making a difference really resonates with our associates. The second pillar is to grow and thrive. Growth really being reflective of the professional and the personal development and growth that people have in careers, and what we offer relative to skills, experiences, and contributions. And then the nod to thrive is, how do we move beyond this just, surviving, but thriving and giving people the means to say that they're thriving through all aspects of their life, and that acknowledges that we have lives outside of work, and we have families, we have pursuits that extend beyond the workplace, and we want to support that. And then the third pillar is succeeding together, and that's really the spirit of collaboration, being part of a winning team, and supporting each other to do our best work. So that's where we landed, and really excited about the response so far.
Yeah. Where do this banner statement and these three different pillars, where do they live? I mean, where do employees see them?
Yes. Well, we're actually still kind of writing our story. It's not completed just yet. But what we've committed to as we've started to roll this out with leaders of people first is this can't just be words on a page. It can't just be words on the wall. That we need to integrate the EVP into the experience that our people have each and every day. We talk about the employee value proposition as our best reflection. This is how we show up, how we aspire to show up each and every day. And so we are beginning to work with leaders to first have them connect with it personally, so that as we are rolling it out to our full population in about a month, that they're ready to advocate, they're ready to champion it. They have connected to it with their own personal why. We want to give them that time now so that it's authentic. You know, from our early work with leaders, we see people connecting with different aspects of it, and that's by design. We're not going to be all things to all people, but we do believe that there's something in it for everybody, and that it will restore that excitement, that belief, that hope in the future.
I'm curious how you also came up with these statements. I mean, who contributed? Who had input on this process?
Yeah, well, a lot of people did. We started out with surveys and focus groups, and we really invited people in. And we were pleased to see hundreds of our team across levels of the organization opt in to the surveys, opt into the workshops. And then once we got a good set of raw data, we started to do external research as well. I've got a couple members of the team here today who contributed to that, and I'll give them a shout out at this table here. That, you know, we really did our homework to not only listen to what we could find from our associates on what brought them to Securian and what keeps them excited every day, but also what's happening in the market. What do we see the next generation of talent seeking and hoping for? Where are their pain points? So that we didn't miss an opportunity to build for the future as well. And so once we had all of that, then it was a very iterative approach. In fact, through multiple sessions, kind of bringing people through different words, different choices. Does this resonate? Or let's circle the words on the page that jump out to you the most. And then we'd walk away and we'd take the word soup and try to make something of it. And I have to say it was at times like, are we ever going to land this? Are we going to get the words? And then there was one, like, when it finally happened, it was as if the clouds parted and everyone was like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what it is. And then with that small group, then we began bringing it out to more and more. And as we expanded that circle, it was really exciting to see people say, like, yes, this is us. This is us on our best days, which is exactly what we wanted. We didn't want it to feel like something out of left field. Like, I wish we were that company. It was truly like, yeah, this is who I believe that we are. And that was an important sentiment to capture.
And I understand that through doing some of this work and reflection, you realized that there were some other areas that you really wanted to invest in. Can you talk a little bit about that and how it relates back to this new EVP?
Indeed. Yeah, so as I mentioned, there's a couple of parts of the EVP that have been part of our DNA that we just wanted to keep and hold on to: the community focus, the being purpose-driven, making a difference, etc. The element that we really believe we need to do more of, and where we are currently investing significant money and time, is in development and that area of growth. Two things in particular I would call out: our investment in leaders. We believe leaders are the gateway to the experience being lifted for everybody. And by getting clear with our leaders on what we expect and supporting them to do their very best work, we believe we're in a really strong position to elevate the experience and our performance. And so we're really excited about that leadership development journey. And what we're doing there in close partnership with a very valued external partner who also is in today's audience. And then the second piece that we're doing for all of our associates is investing in their development to be prepared for AI. And so we went really heavily towards AI as not just the future, but the current, on how AI is affecting how we work and how we deliver value. And we want our team to be ready for that. We want our team to have the skills that they need to succeed in the future. And so with our AI education commitment, we brought all of our leaders through an intensive workshop in January and March, and very quickly then committed to, we want to get 100% of our associates to a baseline proficiency with AI and digital acumen within 90 days. And we're in that journey right now to deliver that by June. And so the team has responded incredibly well because I think they feel like now they're part of the journey. We're doing this together. It's not happening to them. The fear of AI has melted away a little bit because it's been replaced with curiosity and a feeling of investment. So I think those are a couple of things that we recognized we could make a significant impact quickly.
I was going to say, because I'm assuming that AI is probably one of the things that people are feeling uncertain about, right? And have questions about.
Yeah.
We only have a couple minutes left. I wondered if you could talk a little bit about kind of connecting all of this back to the topic at hand. So, reflect on when we are in these times of uncertainty and, disengagement from employees, how is it that providing this new EVP has helped, how has it helped kind of provide some clarity for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really go back to the uncertainty is driven by things that people feel like they don't have answers. They feel like they don't have control. They feel like they don't know what to expect. And as an organization, by getting really clear on what the employee value proposition is, that deal on what do I expect in exchange for my talents, my time, and my expertise within an organization, we're giving people something to hold on to. And also, frankly, an opportunity for choice. Because while I hope that everybody looks at it and says, yes, this is for me, I love the unique combination of things that Securian offers as an employer, there might be other people that say, yeah, that one thing that is so important to me is not reflected here, and that's okay. But by giving clarity and the opportunity to sign on for what we believe is a really compelling proposition, we're giving people something that creates certainty.
Great.
Yeah.
I think that's all that we have time for. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Becca,
Megan. Thanks,
really
everybody.
appreciate it.